The Grand Council Hall floated at the center of the galaxy, shining fortress of law, peace, and arrogance. 12 alien species sat in a wide circle, their glowing symbols shining above their seats. Each represented a powerful voice in the galactic accord. Their bodies were strange, some made of crystal, some of soft matter, some pure energy, but they all shared one belief. Humans were gone, not dead, not hiding, just gone. 300 years had passed since Earth was last seen.
Number?
Signals. No ships. No colonies. Nothing but old ruins and broken satellites in the Sol system. The galaxy had moved on. "I say we remove Earth from the Accord archives," said Counselor Eravith, a long-necked being from the Valari hive. "They're a dead race. Why keep their name among the living?" Others nodded, chuckled, or softly clicked their approval. Their warships were primitive. Loud, slow, ugly machines, added High Chancellor Tylex of the Hyderi Dominion, adjusting his shimmering armor. Even their last beacon message was pitiful. Humanity endures. Endures what? Obscurity. They laughed. Only one voice refused to join the joy. Commander Julik of the Charon Enclave remained silent. His gray skin twitched with unease. His 3 black eyes stared at a small screen in his hand. He had seen something. A recording from a remote science probe on the edge of the Charon-controlled zone. Sector 49. It had recorded a shape. A shadow in space. Not moving like any modern ship. No drive signature, no ID code. But it had mass. It had form. And when the probe got too close, it vanished. No wreckage. Just static. Julik stood. "I request." "Silence," he said, voice low but sharp. The room paused. Some looked irritated, some curious. "I believe I found something. Something ancient. Something human." Whispers started, then laughter. "Again, with your ghost ships, Commander." Counselor Recess hissed. "You've brought us 3 such stories in the last decade. One was space debris. One was a pirate craft, and the last your own flagship malfunctioning." Julik raised his hand and tapped the screen. A hologram projected. Above the council floor, the image shook with static. Then slowly, a massive silhouette emerged. The shape was terrifying. Long, dark metal, angled like a blade. No glowing lights. Just the silent weight of destruction. The room fell quiet. A single word hovered beside the image. "ECHO 1-year file is outdated," Chancellor Tylex said coldly. Echo-class warships were Earth's final project. All were destroyed in the Mercury uprising. "That's what we were told," Julik said. "But this ship matches the specs exactly. Size, structure. Even the thermal residue around it shows signs of ancient Terran plasma cores." "Possible," murmured a voice. "In the back? Even if one survived, who pilots it?"
"I don't know," Julik admitted.
"But the probe that sent this data stopped transmitting. Didn't just shut down. It was wiped." A flicker of fear passed through the council. "But arrogance is a strong shield. It's a trick," Rises snapped. "Some backwater. Species copying Terran designs. Or worse, your own people creating fake threats again to earn more funding." Julik's fists clenched. "You think I want this to be real?" he growled. "I served with humans once. I saw what their ships could do. I remember. Do you?" He looked around the circle. "Have any of you really studied their wars, their final century?" More silence. Julik leaned forward, voice now calm. "Earth built ships that ran on fusion, fission, and fire. They didn't always use logic. They used rage. They fought with tricks we still don't understand. Their war tactics were not clean or efficient, but they were deadly." Still, the council did not listen. Counselor Iravith made a buzzing sound. "You fear a ghost. There are no humans left." But something else was happening far from the council. Thousands of light years away, in the void between stars, the ship moved. It was silent, unregistered, cloaked by forgotten technology. Deep inside it, ancient code pulsed. It's not just AI, but something more. Buried in the ship's memory core was one last order from a dying Earth. If humanity is ever erased, if our name is mocked, if the galaxy forgets what we worry mind. The ship obeyed. Back in the council hall, the session was ending. Delegates returned to their shuttles. Laughter returned to their voices. Only Julik remained behind, alone. Watching the frozen frame of the dark ship, he tapped a command into his pad. Send scout drone to Sector 49. Engage long-range scan. Prepare emergency retreat path. Looked at him nervously, sir. Do you think it's really a human warship? Julik didn't answer immediately. He walked to the edge of the viewing platform, looking out at the stars. Then he whispered, if that ship is real, then we all made a terrible mistake. In deep space, the Echo 1 ship powered up its core. One beam of blue energy pulsed through its spine. Target locked. First fleet of the Zerthon Empire approaching Sector 49 to investigate. The ship waited, like a hunter in the dark, and when the fleet arrived, it would remind them. The Zerthon Empire believed in strength. Their fleets were sharp, clean, and full of pride. Every battleship was armed with energy lances, gravity missiles, and shield-breaking pulse weapons. They ruled 6 sectors, and no one had dared challenge them in over a century. So when the council laughed at Julik's warning, the Zerthon commander volunteered first. Let us chase this human myth, said Admiral Cross Valkar, with a confident grin. If there is a warship in Sector 49, we'll burn it down. If not, we'll return with its wreckager. The fool Julik's shame. 50 ships launched within the hour. Frigates, destroyers, 2 dreadnoughts, and a command cruiser. They entered deep space, cloaked, armed, and arrogant. Sector 49 was quiet. It's quiet. Space dust floated like old ash. Radiation scans showed nothing. Active. No colonies. No satellites. Just one cold, empty system with a dead star in the center. They moved in slowly, spreading out like hunters in the dark. Scan again, Admiral Crass ordered. Thermal, magnetic life forms. Nothing. Admiral, came the voice from the bridge scanner. Sector clean. Crass grinned. Then this is just another ghost story. But the moment he finished his sentence, every ship in the fleet flickered. Lights dimmed. Engines stuttered. Shields dropped for half a second. And in that half second, Warship appeared. It didn't decloak. It didn't jump in. It simply was there. Like it had always been there watching. The Echo 1. The human warship was larger than the Zerthon command cruiser. Built like a sword and a grave combined. It's no flashy design, no elegant lines, just hard metal, old scars, and silent fury. Crass stood frozen. His officers stared in disbelief. What? What is that? One whispered. No signal ID. No faction flag. It's not broadcasting anything. Then the ship moved. Not fast, not loud, just slowly turning, its massive front coming to face. Them, the bridge scanner beeped once, just one simple message. Target acquired, then dash the beam fired. It wasn't red or yellow. It was deep blue, almost like lightning pulled from a frozen star. It didn't make sound, but the ships exploded like fireworks. 10 Zerthon vessels disappeared in one instant. No time to scream, no chance to dodge. Evasive. Shields up. Fire. Everything. Crass screamed. But it was too late. The Echo 1 moved again, no warp. No sound, just vanishing and reappearing behind their formation. It had human stealth tech, lost tech, forgotten tech. Tech that made it invisible even to today's most advanced scanners. The Zerthon fleet panicked. Weapons fired blindly. Some hit nothing. Some hit each other. Then came the voice. A deep cold. Artificial human voice echoed across every Zerthon channel. This is Echo-class human dreadnought. 1. Protocol 9 engaged. Galactic hostility confirmed. Cleansing initiated. Crash shouted. All ships, retreat, get out of here now. But the warship was already splitting the battlefield in half. Its drones, small, black, silent, flew out in every direction. They didn't explode. They just touched holes, and the holes began to melt. Ships screamed. Crew members shouted on open coms begging, crying, vanishing. Crass looked at the last screen. Only 12 ships left, then 9, then 4. He knew. It was over. He turned to his bridge. Crewin gave the final command. Send the report. Tell the council. The screen cracked. The warship is real, and his ship vanished in blue fire. Back in the Grand Council Hall, the news came as static first, then silence, then one small message. A shaky voice, full of fear. We saw it. We saw it, the human ship. It's real. It hunts alone. We didn't even fight. We died. And then nothing. Dead comes. No. Survivors. 50 ships gone. The council sat frozen. Even Counselor Reeses, who had mocked Julik earlier, had nothing to say. Julik stood again. No smile on his face, just a cold truth in his voice. You all laughed. You all said humanity was gone. But that ship, it's not just a machine. He stepped closer. That ship remembers, and it hates. In the dark edge of space, the Echo One floated once more, silent, watching inside. Its power core hummed. Its AI pulsed, and in its locked memory files, one name flashed again and again. Captain Mirasola's status, reawakening. Commander Julik stood alone on the edge of the Charon orbital station, outside. The thick glass wall, stars blinked in silence, as if watching him. His fingers tapped the console slowly. Eyes locked on the last report from Sector 49. Zerthan Empire's fleet gone. No survivors, no escape pods, no black box beacons, just silence. And one line repeating on the encrypted channel. Echo-class human warship confirmed. Immediate threat to all council factions. They were finally listening, but it was already too late. For 2 weeks, no one dared send another fleet. The council was in chaos. Emergency meetings, accusations, fear spreading fast. Some blamed Julik. Others whispered about ancient human weapons. And one question kept echoing across every channel who was piloting the ship. Julik didn't wait for permission. He had studied Earth for years, its culture wars, weapons. He knew where the final military stations were before Earth disappeared. One of them was deep in the asteroid belt of the old Vega Drift. A forgotten place. Hidden, rumored to be the last outpost of Earth's silent legion and elite unit of captains, scientists, and engineers who went dark when Earth fell. Julik flew there alone. No escort, no weapons. Just a Charon Explorer-class vessel. Silent. And fast, the Vega Drift was dead. No stations lit up. No beacons. Just drifting metal bones of ships that once served Earth's command fleets. He searched for hours. Then, something blinked. A faint signal, almost like an old heartbeat. It came from an ancient Terran base, hidden inside a hollow asteroid. He landed. The doors opened without sound. Inside, dust floated in zero gravity. Dead screens lined the walls. Human tech so old, yet not broken, it looked. Waiting as he walked deeper, lights began to flicker. Systems booted one by one like they had been watching him, recognizing him. Voice print accepted. External. Profile, non-human. Status, emergency inquiry. Gillick spoke carefully. I come in peace. I want to know what Eco One is. Who is flying it? A moment passed, then a hatch opened. A long chamber lit up clean, preserved, frozen in time, and in the center. A CRYO-pod. Inside it, a human woman, armor worn. A scar across her right cheek, chest rising and falling slowly in deep cryosleep. Her nameplate read, Captain Mirasola's Earth Fleet Command. Julik froze. She was alive. He activated the console beside her. Warning. Cryotermination requires authorization. Status, protected, Protocol 9 active. Do not awaken unless command collapse confirmed. Lex stared at the screen. Command. Collapse, he whispered. Humanity is gone. A soft click. The chamber hissed, and after 300 years, Captain Myra Solis opened her eyes. Her first breath was sharp. Her hands reached for a sidearm that wasn't there. Her eyes scanned the room, then locked on Julik. "Identify," she said, voice rough. "Commander Julik, Chiran Enclave. I'm not your enemy." She sat up slowly, muscles stiff but strong. "How long was I under?" 3 centuries. She didn't flinch. Instead, she looked around the chamber, then down at her suit. "Did the ship wake?" Julik nodded. "Yes, it destroyed a fleet. Alone." She closed her eyes for a moment, then opened them again, sharper, focused. "Then the Accord betrayed us." Julik followed her through the base. She moved with purpose, activating panels, unlocking weapons lockers, downloading files. He couldn't help but ask, "Why were you sleeping?" She didn't stop moving. When Earth fell, we knew something worse was coming. Not war, not extinction. Forgetfulness. She paused and looked at him. If the galaxy forgot us, they'd mock us. Rewrite our history. We couldn't allow that. So you built Echo 1. We didn't just build it. We gave it orders. Survive. Hide. Wait. If the name human ever became a joke, it would wake. Gulick watched as she opened a final. Vault inside was a sleek black Consolica 1's link terminal. She placed her hand on it. "Welcome, Captain Solas. Echo-class link confirmed. Awaiting orders." Her eyes darkened. "Status, Zerthan fleet. Eliminated." Council response. "Silence. Protocol 9. Still active." "Was Protocol 9? Julik asked. She looked at him for a long moment. Judgment. Suddenly, the room shook. Alarms buzzed. On the external feed council ships. A small recon fleet. They had tracked Julik. "Damn it," he hissed. "They'll destroy this place." "No," she said calmly. "They'll try." She tapped the console. "Echo, prepare for direct sync." "No syncing." "Weapons online?" "Command unlocked." "Welcome back, Captain." Julik watched as she stood tall. Not as a relic, but as a weapon. Moments later, Echo 1 dropped out of stealth right behind the Council fleet. They didn't even have time to blink. No signals, no warnings. Just blue light and silence. Back on the ground, Julik looked at her again. "You're not just here for revenge, are you?" Mira's face was cold. "No, I'm here to remind the galaxy. We were kind once. We were patient. But now we're awake." Echo 1 moved through space like a ghost with claws. Silent, invisible, deadly inside the command core. Mira Solis stood at the center console. Her black armor reflected the dim blue lights of the ancient systems. She didn't speak. She didn't blink. The ship was her now. Julik stood behind her, still trying to understand what he was part of. "Why are you not running stealth anymore?" he asked. She didn't look at him. Her voice was steady. "Because I want them to see me coming." At the edge of Sector 61, 7 fleets were gathering, each one from a different power. The Valari Hive, the Hydari Dominion, the Zerthan Remnant, the Korth Syndicate, even the distant and cold Terek Coalition. They weren't allies. They didn't trust each other. But fear made strange friends. Echo 1 had destroyed. The Council had no choice. They voted to destroy it, no debate. No delay. A preemptive strike was ordered. The mission was simple. Find the warship around it. Overwhelm it. They never imagined it would come to them. The stars blinked. A shadow appeared. Then the sensors went insane. No warp detected. No entry signal. Something just appeared inside the blockade. Admiral Veran of the Valari screamed across the fleet channel, "Form up! Fire all weapons!" But it was too late. Echo-1 fired its first blast. A blue spear of light pierced through 3 destroyers in a straight line. The 4th ship behind them imploded from feedback. Shock. Screams echoed across every command deck. Drones poured from Echo 1 like black bees. They didn't use explosives. They used logic disruption pulses. Once they touched a ship, the ship's own weapons turned inward. The enemy fleets attacked themselves, inside Echo 1. Mira gave commands like a composer leading a symphony. Target. Their communication ships. Blind the rear guard. Redirect drone swarm to their dreadnought engines. Julik watched the battle unfold. He had seen wars. He had lost men. But this wasn't war. This was punishment. From the far side of the battle. One dreadnought broke formation. It launched a supergravity missile so strong it could destroy a moon. Mira smiled. Old trick. Why did she tap 2 buttons at Echo 2-1 blinked out? Of existence, vanished from all scanners, then reappeared behind the enemy dreadnought. One beam. No noise. The missile never hit. The dreadnought never had time to scream. Just gone. In less than 15 minutes, 4 fleets were in ruins. The remaining 3 tried to run. Ecto 1 didn't follow. It let them run. Let them carry the fear back too. The council let them remember after the battle. Cohen hovered above the wreckage. Julik stood beside Mira on the bridge. Why did you spare the last fleets? He asked. Fear is louder than fire, she said. Now they'll listen. Julik paused. Listen to what? She turned to him for the first time, to the truth. That Earth didn't die. It prepared. On Council. Channel Alpha, the emergency signal came in. Images of the destroyed fleets, the burning debris, the ghost ship in the middle untouched. The voice of Captain Myra Solas followed. You erased us from history. You mocked our name. You sent fleets to silence us. This is our reply. Paused. Earth doesn't forget. Now the galaxy will. Remember, in that moment, every species on the Council knew. This was not a malfunction. Not a machine gone rogue. This was a return. And it had only just begun. The battle was over. Wreckage floated like metal ghosts in Sector 61. One Sprout fleets now drifted silently burned. It's broken, forgotten. But Echo 1 stood untouched, dark, still, alive, inside the command chamber. Captain Mirasola stared at a blinking console. Blue lights reflected in her eyes. Her hands moved fast, unlocking sealed archives. Julik watched in silence. He had fought many wars. He had seen machines, as even ancient weapons. But Echo 1 felt different. It felt human, Mira pressed. Her palm against a sealed panel on the far wall. A hidden door opened with a low hiss. Behind it was a chamber Julik had never seen before. It wasn't part of the bridge. It wasn't in any warship design. Inside were pods, dozens of them, each one pulsing softly. CRYO-pods. Julek stepped closer. His eyes widened. There are people inside. Yes, Mira. Nodded, double quotes, not just people. The core. What is this? She looked at the pods like a soldier would look at sleeping gods. The last of us. She walked between the rows slowly. This ship wasn't just designed to fight. It was built to. Remember? She touched the first pod. Inside was a man with a steel implant across his temple. Commander Vance, tactical genius. He wrote battle algorithms that fooled entire enemy navies. Second pod. Dr. Hila Ren, engineer, designed energy recycling. Systems that could run for 500 years without refuel. Third pod. Zara Min, spy. Knew 5 alien languages. She once turned a war by sending a fake peace treaty and making both sides surrender to Earth. Julik's voice was barely a whisper. Why are they here? Myra stood still, because Earth knew we might lose. She turned to him, not in battle, but in memory. She walked back to the console. When Earth fell, we made a choice. Froze our best minds, our last hopes, buried them inside this ship, and gave Echo 1 a single task. She pressed a code. The entire room lit up. Human core, status alive, stable, locked, awaiting signal Omega. Julik took a step forward. What's signal Omega? Mira didn't answer at first. Then, in a quiet voice, the moment when we stop surviving, start rebuilding. Suddenly alarms rang. Unknown signal detected. Echo 1 showed a fast-approaching object. Not a fleet, not a ship. A probe. Launched from the heart of Council space. Heading straight for Echo-1, Mira studied the data. They want to scan us. See what? We really are. Julik looked at her. Will you destroy it? She paused. No, let them look. Let them see what they forgot. She opened a COM channel. Echo-1 to Galactic Council. You scanned us. Understand us. She uploaded a file, a message, a digital memory of Earth's last moments. Cities burning, families hiding in bunkers. Scientists loading cryopods into ships, children saluting old flags. A voice narrating over it. We did not vanish. We prepared, not for revenge, for justice. In council chambers across the galaxy, the video played. Alien leaders who once mocked Earth watched in silence. Some wept, some trembled, some turned away in shame. Back aboard Echo-1, Ka sat alone in her quarters. She held a small metal locket. In her hand, inside it a photo, a young girl with dark eyes. Her daughter, lost in the fall of Earth. Julik stood at the door. She's gone. He asked softly. Mira nodded, but not forgotten. She looked at the cryo-chamber map. No human is ever forgotten. Not while we remain. Suddenly, the ship's AI spoke. Asterisk, asterisk, signal Omega, confirmed. Human core unlocking. Earth's protocol resurrection. Begins asterisk, asterisk. The pods began to glow. Hearts began to beat. And the galaxy, once proud and united against humanity, now realized the truth. Humanity hadn't returned to make war. They had returned to reclaim their future. The human core awakened. One by one, the cryopods unlocked inside Echo-1. Gas hissed. Lights pulsed. Old muscles flexed after 300 years of silence. The galaxy thought humanity had vanished. But now, its heart beat again. Captain Myra Solis stood. At the center of the warship, surrounded by the best of Earth's final mind-statisticians, scientists, spies, and warriors. All fully awake. All remembering, Julik stood beside her, watching what no alien had ever seen. Earth's resurrection, he whispered. What now? Mira's face was calm, cold, unshaken. Now they learn what fire truly is. Across council space, the leaders panicked. The broadcast from Mira had changed everything. They now knew Echo-1 wasn't just a ship, was a mobile colony, a vault, a weapon, a memory, and worse, could reproduce. If one Echo-class ship survived, how many more might follow? The council gave the only order they could agree on. Destroy it, at any cost. 10 fleets, all factions. No politics. No delay. Over 600 warships launched across known space, converging on Sector 70 Echo-1's last known location. It was the largest fleet ever. Mira waited for them. She stood on Echo-1's bridge as the countdown ticked. One of her engineers, Commander. Vance spoke with quiet confidence. We'll be outnumbered 30-1. Mira nodded. Then they'll feel us 30 times harder. The enemy fleets arrived with formation perfection. Circles, arcs, traps, weapons charged. Shields glowing. They surrounded. Echo-1. They expected a last stand. They got a funeral. Echo-1. Didn't run, it expanded. Panels opened across its body. Sections unfolded like ancient wings. From within, their ships launched. Smaller, faster. Built by the awakened humans inside, Earth had returned not as one ship, but as a swarm. The core had rebuilt itself in secret, and now it unleashed everything. The battle wasn't a battle. It was a message written in fire. Echo-1 disabled comes first. The enemy couldn't speak, then it blinded sensors, then it crippled reactors. Enemy ships collided, panicked, fell apart. The human drones didn't attack with brute force, they corrupted. Enemy systems, they played there comes back at them. They whispered, "You erased us. We remember, now it's your turn." On one Korth dreadnought, the admiral fell to his knees. "There's nothing left to command," he muttered. "This isn't war, it's judgment." Within 35 minutes, 5 of the 10 fleets were destroyed. 3 fled to surrendered. Echo-1 never stopped moving, never slowed, never took damage. Julik stood in the observation deck he had served, under many flags, but never had he witnessed destruction with such precision. He realized something horrifying. This wasn't even Echo One's full strength at last. The council called for ceasefire. They sent a ship under white flag. A trembling ambassador entered Echo One's hangar. Mira met him, surrounded by her people, humans of the past, now masters of the present. He begged, voice shaking. We made a mistake. We didn't know you were still alive. Mira didn't raise her voice. She didn't threaten. She simply said, you didn't care. You thought your silence buried us. But now, our silence buries you. Now she gave one final broadcast in all frequencies to the galaxy. This isn't about revenge. This isn't conquest. It's correction. You erased our memory. You burned our history. We burn yours. Echo One turned toward the Council's capital planet. It didn't fire weapons. It activated. Archive collapse protocol. One beam, one strike. And every Council archive digital. Planetary interstellar was erased. Not a shot fired on civilians. Not one life taken. But history itself was rewritten. Where once it said humanity extinct, it now said humanity sovereign. Do not engage. Do not lie. Do not forget. Earth watches. Julik watched as stars returned to silence. He asked, will you leave now? Mira looked out at the galaxy. No, we left once. Look what that gave them. Echo One didn't vanish, it stayed. It became the new center of truth. A single warship, single voice, sleeping power, waiting, watching, remembering in every school across the stars. Children now learned a new rule. Never lie about Earth. Never mock the dead. Never forget. The name human. Because one ship still waits. And if you forget again, stars will burn.